YouTube, what's going on today, guys? It is Tuesday, and you guys know what that means. It's Tier List Tuesday, boys, and we're talking about sniper supports today. Let's go. So before we do jump into today's video, guys, I do have a video for just about every single one of these sniper supports on the channel. Actually, I do have every single one of them, so I don't know what I'm saying. I do have every single one of them on the channel, so if you just want to find one, just type in the gun name and Rikar, or in the description below, I do have a list. Most of them are updated to have sniper support on there as well, but you can kind of adjust them to how you guys feel fit for a sniper support, or, like I said, it's on the YouTube channel. So, let's jump into this, guys. If you guys do like today's video, give it a good old thumbs up. It's Tier List Tuesday, which we do every single Tuesday. If you guys want to find your way back, make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel so you can find your way back, and comment below if there's any guns I missed here today, or what you guys want to see going forward with the channel, what tier list you want to see next week, all kinds of good stuff. I appreciate you guys. Let's jump into it. All right, you guys, so starting off today, we have the AS I think the AS is a fun sniper support to use, but it truly isn't super consistent, and that's why I'm giving it C tier today. The reason it's going to fall into C tier for me is just because it's limited to 30 bullets. It doesn't have the greatest range because, yes, it has very little recoil. It is harder to hit those like medium long range shots than some of these other guns on here, because at the end of the day, I'm comparing this AS to SMGs. I'm not really comparing it to ARs because ARs have a bit more consistency at that medium range than the AS does. But if you're up close and personal with the AS like, you literally are going to win every single gunfight. Like a 1v1, good luck beating this gun. But at the end of the day, you're in a tight spot, and like it's not great. I don't know. It's hard to like love this gun, even though it's super fun to mess around with, and sometimes you're like, this is the best gun in the game. Then you run into a 1v4 and you're like, I've reloaded 6 times in this fight. There's still people alive. And yes, it's a good gun, but it's a little wild. Next, we have the FFAR, guys. So I think the FFAR might be S tier right now. Yes, we all know that it was like the absolute most dominant AR that came out of Cold War originally, but over time it has been nerfed, and like after the Season 4 Reloaded patch, not a lot of people talked about the FFAR as one of the fastest time to kills in the game again, and it's still very controllable recoil. So it's definitely S tier for me. I know people are going to be like, the movement's horrible on it. It's not what it once was. Yeah, we're not comparing it to what it once was. We're comparing it to the weapons that it is now. And it's really good, guys. I promise you, give it a go if you haven't given it a go lately. You will be surprised. The Ram 7, the OG sniper support for a lot of people back in the Modern Warfare era. I'm probably going to put it at B tier right now. I think the Ram 7 is always a sleeper. Like, even when it was like the meta, and I told you guys it was the meta, and then it became the meta, like, it was still slept on. It never became like the dominant meta because the AMAX kind of dominated in that time period, but the Ram 7 is very good, guys. And as a sniper support, you can build it a couple different ways, and you can build it for a little extra range. You can build it for a little bit more mobility. Like, there's a lot you can do with it, and it's just consistent at the end of the day. I think it's a very solid sniper support that if you guys are looking to mess around or you love Modern Warfare weapons, give it a go. It's a good one. The XM4 was very dominating at one point, but I think I'm going to throw it at B tier for the time being. It doesn't have the movement that it once had. Like, it's good, but I think it's like a little too clunky now. Like, I don't like the iron sight build anymore. I fell in love with the iron sight build, and I started putting reticles on it, and it just felt way better after all the changes. And at this point in time, it's more of a long range AR than it is a short range AR, in my opinion, because it used to be flopped. It used to be like XM4 was a secondary. Like, you didn't use that as the main AR, and now a lot of people are using it as their main AR. So it's a very interesting gun right now, and I think they're still going to put some changes to this gun eventually because it is very strong right now. So I'm going to leave it at B tier for now. It's definitely viable though. The AK-47 is 100% S tier, and arguably it's better than FFAR if you hit headshots, but I think the FFAR just kind of sneaks it out on consistency a little bit. Like, that fire rate's really hard to beat because you get a little extra flinch off of it. The AK, if you shoot someone in the head, like, they just instantly disappear. So I love it. I think it's my personal favorite, but I think for most people, the FFAR is going to be more consistent, and a lot of people don't love the iron sight of the AK-47. That is the one downside of it, but I truly do like it a lot. If you don't love it, you can throw a red dot on it, and it's pretty decent still. So, I love the AK. It's going to S tier for me. Now, we are through the ARs. There's no other ARs here that are really... Actually, we can put the Groza up here, but I think I'm going to put the Groza C tier. The C tier Groza just because they haven't fixed the iron sight yet. And the sights just look horrendous on it. They've tried to make this gun meta so many times, and they just keep failing so hard, unfortunately. I think it's okay, but like, if you have ever seen it, guys, like, the iron sight is this giant line, which is great, like, super easy, but it shoots to the left of the line. Like, it's a giant line. Like, why doesn't it shoot straight on that line? But it is what it is. Unfortunately, that's why it's going to fall to C tier for me. Otherwise, I'd put it probably B or A tier, because the damage on it, you can't argue with, but it's just clunky, and it doesn't feel good, and I wish they fixed that bug. It's been in the game for way too long. The Bullfrog. The Bullfrog. We're going to SMGs now, guys. I think the Bullfrog right now is A tier. It's definitely arguably the best SMG sniper support in the game. You got to remember, when you're working with SMGs, you get a lot more movement than ARs. A lot more, but you don't get the absolute like damage that you get at like medium, and you're never going to really kill someone at long range. Every once in a while, you'll sneak one in, and I'll be like, ooh, I kind of beamed that guy from a long range, but you're sniping, so why are you even using it at that point? Like, there's going to be like an awkward time, like where you're like reloading and you have to shoot across the map. Yes, it'll happen every once in a while, but up close and personal, the Bullfrog, if you're hitting upper body, gun's absolute beam. Like, it is so good. It's kind of in that same category as the AK-47, where it's not that good until you hit upper body. If you hit upper body, neck, head, like, good luck beating it. Like, it's really tough gun to win in gunfights against if you're getting hit in the head. So, good luck. Hit your headshots, and it'll be A tier for you all day. The AUG 556. This gun is probably the most slept on gun in the game right now. It performs kind of like an AR range-wise, and the movement is atrocious. It is gross. Like, I want to love this gun so much, because when you're aiming down sights with it, it feels so good. But the ADS speed's slow, the movement on it slow, there's terrible strafing, but if you're just aiming down sight at someone, like, you can't beat it. So for me, I'm personally gonna put it at B tier today. I think it is a viable, it kind of feels like the XM4 to me. It's like super clunky, but like, if you hit your shots, like, you're absolutely beaming someone. So I love it for just messing around and having a good time. There's a couple people I play with in the stream that uses it. I think it's Connor that uses it a bunch. Shadow, he uses this a lot, and that's why it actually made the list, because I personally wouldn't think of this initially as like a true sniper support, but it honestly performs well, because it's a very solid medium range gun. It has more range than a typical SMG, so I like it. Solid, very good time to kill. One of the fastest in the entire game right now. So it's gonna go to B tier just because of the clunkiness, though. The MP7 is going to be that same category as the Bullfrog for me. This is my OG sniper support, so I might be a little biased on it, but I personally think it's better than the Bullfrog if I were to like truly like rank this. I'm not really making a ranking list though, but the MP7 is always, first off, the time to kill is very good right now, and you can shoot it anywhere in the body, and it's very good. Then there's zero recoil, and that has like the best iron sight in the entire game. So if you like a good iron sight, like, the MP7 is hard to beat. It's got good range, and it's absolute dominant right now up close and personal. The movement's okay on it. It's a little clunky, but you get aiming down sight. Like, it's a good sniper support. I love it. I've been using it for, I saw a video. I went to one of my old tier lists that I ran to while pulling up this list today, and I saw I had the Car ranked #1 sniper back in Season 3 of Modern Warfare. So I am an OG Car lover, and I was running this back in the day with it. So good. The Milano today, guys, is going to probably fall into... This is a tough one, because there's a few different ways you can build the Milano, but I think for the pure damage and output, I think I got to go B tier with it. It's kind of in that same situation as an AUG, where it has a little bit more range than a typical SMG, but at the end of the day, like, it has that clunky fire rate that kind of makes it hard to hit those shots. So I would definitely take the AUG over it, but I think it falls into that same category, because up close and personal, the time to kill is still very good. And to me personally, the Milano right there with like the Mac 10 and maybe the OTS 9 has like the best movement in the game. It feels absolutely, Cold War MP5 as well. Like, it feels absolutely phenomenal when you're moving around. So that's why I put the Milano at B tier. Otherwise, I'd probably put it at C tier with AS Val and Groza, because it's just like kind of an awkward gun to use sometimes, but that movement speed and everything you get with it feels so good. And last but not least, some people might not like this one. Some people might argue, but I'm gonna put the Mac 10. I think the Mac 10 is one of those OG sniper supports that came out with Black Ops Cold War. You saw a lot of people like TP, Huskers, a lot of people were running it, but I personally am gonna put it at D tier. I don't think it's really a great sniper support right now. I think it's okay at best. The reason I say that is like the range is decent at short medium range, but like medium range, like medium to like slightly long, you're never gonna really kill anyone with it. Yes, you can like sneak one in, like I said, the Bullfrog, but I would say the Bullfrog and the MP7 definitely beat it at that range. But up close and personal, like the Mac 10 is very good. And then like I do want to like throw it in there, like you can technically use any gun in the game as a sniper support. These are just what I personally think is the meta right now. Like you could use a LC10, you can, like OTS9 was like super good at one point. Like last season it was broken, so people were using that as sniper support just because it was so good. Even though it had no range, people were still using it. It's kind of a weird time for sniper support, so like you could technically throw any SMG on this list and just like argue about it, but personally, I wanted to just like narrow it down to like the more consistent ones. And I'm sure someone's going to say, why don't you put the nail gun on here? Well, the nail gun has 20 bullets and that's 10 less than the AS Val. So it's still not viable. And it kind of falls in that same category as the AS Val. It's just the AS Val is a little bit more viable in my mind. So that's going to be it today, guys. I would say definitely the FFAR and the AK-47 are my favorite currently. MP7, Bullfrog are very good. And then down the list from there, they're good to mess around with, especially if you're playing Rebirth or something like that and you're just having a good time with the boys and you just want to change it up. Give those a go. And yeah, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you guys want to find your way back. Like the video and comment below, guys, what I missed here. But don't be that mean to me. Or you can be. I don't really care. I got thick skin. So I love you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.